So apparently you are good at faking it till you make it when it comes to doing live videos. So the actual training tonight is I wrote this out for you guys before we had a girl on our team quit this afternoon, which happens. And this one I had pegged for a while. Like I was just waiting for her to text me and say that she quit because about 5 months ago, she stopped showing up on Zooms. She stopped posting. She was doing lives. She stopped doing lives. She started dabbling in other things that were not profitable, but that she was trying to make profitable, which is fine. But guys, she's somebody who started and she made $500 in her first like 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. It might have been 2 months, but I believe it was closer to 6. And she's not lazy. Like I'm not even going to sit here and say that she's lazy because she's not. She's probably one of the hardest workers that I've signed onto the team. But she is such a strong red and such a strong blue together. And she had been in network marketing before. She did well in it, and then she kind of fizzled out. And some of the stuff she was telling me when she had quit were red flags because she has a personality that is very much like, her red is on 100% when she gets into something and it's new and it's exciting and it's shiny. Then her red even carries her through some of the drought times because we all have ups and downs. But then she fizzles out because something else looks new and shiny and bright. And then she jumps over there and she's 100% on and she's doing great. And then she fizzles out because something else is new and shiny and bright. And so I expected hey, I think I'm going to quit doing this. What I didn't expect is she was already at another MLM when she came and told me that today. I was like, oh, okay. And a month ago, 2 months ago, she was singing praises how she had lost like 40 some pounds in this amount of days. And today it was like, oh, the products have never worked for me. So again, a lot of inconsistencies, but then even more so inconsistencies inside the business. And I told her when she started, and I told her when she was going through her first little rough patch, I said, you need to set up a system. And I'm not saying like the systems that we have for all y'all to follow. You need to set up a system with your family and your schedule. Or these are the things I'm going to do every day, even when I don't feel like working. Because I can tell you, this is what happens. Life happens, and life happens to all of us, by the way. The more days you take off, the harder it is to jump back in. I can vouch for that. Savannah can vouch for that. Julie can vouch for that. Tina can vouch for that. The more days you take off, the harder it is to get back on. Now, y'all know I don't advocate being on your phone 24/7 because that's not how I run my business. But you do need to do certain things consistently every day and just knock them out and then be done for the day, if that's how you choose to run your business. So I had talked to her several times about setting up a routine that worked for her, and it never happened. So then eventually life happened. Oh, I'm not quitting, Tanya. I'm just taking a little bit of time off. I'm not quitting. In my mind, I'm like, I've heard that before. You're not quitting. But then all of a sudden, those 6 o'clock Zooms, you're not there anymore. And we reached out to her, and I know Janice talked to her a couple of times. And she hopped back on a couple of times and then hopped off. And then eventually it's like, oh, the coffee lives aren't happening anymore. I was like, I know it's coming. You're just, and then it was like, today I asked her, I said, hey, have you watched, or no, yesterday I asked her, I said, hey, have you watched back up actually to about a week ago. A week ago, she texted me and said, hey, I want to get back in. Can you just help me restart? I was like, yeah, for sure. And I asked her, I said, have you watched what are they called? The preseason Zooms that Savannah posted. And she goes, no, I haven't watched anything for a long time. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Because you get so far away from it, you forget why you started. She forgot how easy it was, because she was consistent, how easy it was to make money. She forgot that the products were working for her, or she was lying about it, but I'm pretty sure it was working for her. She doesn't seem like someone who just lies about things. But then something new and shiny. So instead of saying, I just dropped the ball, and I'm kind of flaking a little bit, it was easier to say, the products didn't work. Either they didn't work or they did work, but you can't say both without lying at one time. And so I urge you guys to set up a system, and I'm going to share the one that I do, to where it doesn't matter the crappy day that you have. Like, you don't have to think about, okay, I need to work my business today, but I'm kind of not in a good mind frame. I don't really know what to do, because you already have it. Literally, I have my blueprint of what I'm doing. Now, you can use the KPI checklist. I haven't used it for a little while. I kind of pivoted a little bit because we do so much with Host to Post that the KPI checklist was a little not serving like it should have been for our team. So I'm just going to tell you, I break mine into 4 different parts of the day, or 4 different segments. And you can do it all at once in the morning. I stopped doing that because I noticed that it was taking longer and longer, because after the first hour and a half, I was tired. I was kind of done working, but I made myself sit and finish. So what was taking me 2.5 to 3 hours to get everything done was stretching to 5 or 6, because my brain was like, I don't want to do this. And I was getting slower and slower. So for me personally, I really can't work more than 2 hours at a time, or I'm kind of I'm not as sharp. And then I just kind of get lazy. So for me personally, if you can sit and work a 5-hour stretch and be done, do it. Yeah, I can't either. I tried and I forced myself a few times. But unless I was having an on day, which we've all had those days. We love those days when you're so focused, nothing can deter you. But if you're having even a slightly off day and you try to sit and work a 5-hour stretch, by the 2.5 hour mark, you might as well get up and go do something, because you're working at half capacity. I learned that the hard way more than one time. I was like, I've been working since 5. How is it 11? I'm not even done with my list. Oh, that's right, because I accidentally got on the scroll. I accidentally watched 17 videos. It wasn't smart. So my first block of work, and I would suggest doing this one first and doing it in the morning, because it contains your 2-day follow-ups. So the earlier you can get those out, the more chance you have of signing those people that day, because you had the first conversation with them yesterday. Today, you're going to do the follow-up. If you're following up with them at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and they're not seeing it till the next morning, the psychology behind it is well, I've already waited this long to reply. I don't have to reply right now, and they usually forget. So not only do they not reply and you don't get a sale, or not only do you not get a sale off of it, but they typically don't reply at all, and then you just think you did something wrong. And I tested that theory out myself for a month, and my numbers definitely dropped a lot when I was trying to do follow-ups at night. So the first thing I do is I interact on my memories. If you haven't been in the business for at least a year, you don't need to worry about that. I am going to show you real quick, for those of y'all who've been in the business. This is a super easy way to get some of your business posts up in front of people again, because all you're doing is boosting them. Deborah's actually on here. She commented on one of mine from, I don't know, a couple years ago, and asked if she could use it. And I was like, and this is perfect for my training, because it just goes to show you that it throws it in people's news feeds today, even though you posted it a long time ago. So from your menu, you just click the menu button. I'm sorry, memories, not menu. And then you can scroll down. Guys, I'm kind of missing my blonde hair after this. So yeah, so this was a funny one that I posted a year ago today. So I didn't re-comment on it because it wasn't a business one. I pretty much just comment on the business ones most of the time. This again, not a business one, but look how cute this kid is, y'all. I can't even with my child. Not a business one, although that is a funny one. Not a business one, not a business one, but I'm obsessed with Hobby Lobby. I didn't comment on that one because the girl that I posted about isn't in the business anymore. So that's not a smart thing to do. So not a business one. Most of the time I have more to comment on than I did this time. Okay, so this was one. It said this was posted 3 years ago, y'all. Beyond grateful for the $200 bonus my family earned through Facebook yesterday. #Christmas cash. All I did was comment 3 years later and still loving this little advertising gig. One info PM me application. I'll do that on any of mine that are business posts, unless they're ones like this that, again, people aren't in the business anymore. Or ones like this that are like black, green, and bling, and I don't want people seeing them. That's another one I didn't want people seeing again. Didn't want people seeing. So this one, opening up 3 VIP spots before Christmas, blah, blah, blah. 4 years later, still loving this advertising gig, one info PM me application. And this is when Deborah asked if she could use. I was like, absolutely. And I'm thinking like, that's funny because I posted that 4 years ago. I literally had been in the business for a couple months at that point. This one would not comment on. Y'all that have been in the business any length of time, you're going to have a lot of these that you're like, oh, why did I post that? Because we were taught to. That's why you posted it. I know for a fact that Savannah has a lot of those because we laugh about them when they pop up in the memories. I'm like, delete, delete, delete. So that's the first thing I do. If you haven't been in the business for at least a year, don't do it. You don't need to do it. If you've been in for at least a year, I would go back and recomment on my memories. The second thing I do in block number 1 is my 2-day follow-ups. So I'm going to link, when I post this, I'm going to link a lot of different videos so you guys can go watch the ones you need to. Unit 11, and I totally stole this from Ray, my crazy follow-up. That's what his is called. I loved it. Couldn't think of anything better, so I stole it. If you go to the VIP training page, go to unit 11, go down to, units, and then unit 11 is my crazy follow-up. It shows you exactly how I do the, like, keeping track of my hundreds list and host a post and all that stuff. So I would honestly go watch them. And then unit 2 talks about new distributor training. And there's one in there that's the conversation progression. That one I will link though, because the only one I can't link is the unit 11. For some reason, I can't turn it into a link. It won't let me. So I interact on my memories. I do my 2-day follow-ups, and I check in with what I call my BFF list, which absolutely stole from April. And that was genius. Like, I love that she taught us that. Same thing. There's a video that explains how to do that. I will link it all down below when I post this. Those are the only 3 things I do first thing in the morning. Interact on memories, day 2 follow-ups, and check in with my BFF. I do return memories from the night, or do return messages from the night before, but I usually only have 5 or 6 because of what I do in my last block of the day, which I'll share with you in a little bit. Block 1 typically takes me 60 to 90 minutes. If you don't have a big team and you are not doing, like, I'm getting up at least 10 host to post a day, sometimes more. So if your leads are not as high as mine and you don't have a crazy big team, it's not going to take you 90 minutes. Most of y'all could probably do this in a 30-minute chunk, maybe 45 if you're brand new and you're really learning the system. So literally that's block 1. Block 2, I'm going to skip for now, and I'm going to come back to it because I'll tell you why. So block 1, I pretty much do, that's like my first block of work of the day. So for me, I try to get that done from like 5 to 6:30, sometimes 5 to 7. So obviously, like, whatever your first block is. Block number 3 is what I do in the afternoon, typically around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You could do this one at night. I like to do in the afternoon, so I have a few people to talk to at night and then follow up with them the next morning. So I message 25 distributor messages, and I literally just go down my friends list. You can print it out or you can get it on your Facebook. I will show you real quick how to get to your friends list on here, just in case you're new and don't know. Actually, just kidding. I might not be able to do it from my iPad. I know I can from my phone, but different devices are different. So I should be able to click the 3 dots by my profile. Click where it says activity log.
Your screen stopped sharing.
Of course it did. One of these days, I'm going to upgrade my iPad. One of these days. Okay, so if you didn't see, I clicked the 3 dots, click where it says activity log. And then, so on your phone, up at the top, it's going to say filters. You're going to click filters, then you're going to click categories, or I think, filters and connections, and then friends. Then you're going to click filters again, and you're going to click the date. You'll just have to play around with it. On an iPad, and I think maybe a computer too, you click category. You're going to click where it says added friends. Then you're going to click year, and you'll click whatever year you want. The reason I like the phone better is because you can pick the month and the year. So you don't have to scroll down. Now, if you're going to do it this way and not print, and if you want to print your friends list, just YouTube how to print it. It's way too hard for me to explain how to do it. I probably couldn't explain it. But those of y'all who have a little bit more trouble with technology, I would suggest just printing the friends list, because you have to remember to write down where you leave off, or you're going to be spending 20 and 30 minutes trying to figure out where the last people you messaged on your friends list on your Facebook. I've done it more than one time, and I kick myself in the butt every time. I'm like, crap, because from one day to the next, I can't remember what freaking date I left up on. So it is what it is. So message 25 distributors. And again, watch the conversation video. Go to unit, I think it's unit 2. Yeah, it's unit 2 on how to interview distributors, how to train distributors, like get really good at the conversation. I message for my new host to post. Now, those are typically off of a giveaway because I've already done my 2-day follow-up. So I've already asked a decent amount of people to host a post, because the 2-day follow-up consists of messaging everyone I talked to yesterday and either saying, hey, are you ready to put the order in? I've got 2 spots left, whatever your follow-up is. And then everyone that you said that to yesterday, today you're asking them to host a post. So day 1's always the initial conversation. Day 2 is the follow-up, and day 3 is asking to host a post. So by the time I get to my block 3 of work, I usually already have 20 to 25 people that I've asked to host a post. I message another 25 off of a giveaway. So I'm typically asking anywhere from 35 to 50, 60 people a day to host a post, because I have the system set up so well that it doesn't take me a lot of extra time. So block 3, I message 25 distributor messages. I don't message loyal customer messages unless I go to someone to message them, like I'm going down my list. I go to send someone a distributor message and I already sent it, but I've never talked to them about the products. I'll send a product message. And I make sure that I am tally marking as I'm going. Like literally, this is the dumbest, simplest thing ever. LCDTHAP, HAP. When I ask someone to host a post, tally mark. Ask them about distributor, tally mark. Like it's nothing fancy. Literally, I'm tally marking. And then the last thing I do in that block is my host to post follow-ups, which again, go to unit 11, it explains exactly how to do it. The reason I don't message for distributors, oh, yep, Julie's got them on a sticky note. The reason I don't message for customers, unless I just happen to be in the inbox and that's the next like logical thing to ask, is because when I do my host to post follow-up, I get all my customer messages sent out with that. And if like today, I think I ended like 4 short, I don't worry about it because there's plenty of days that I go over 25. My goal is to average 25, but I don't go hunting and messaging for customers. It's a lot easier to turn a potential distributor into a customer than a potential customer into a distributor for me. Now, I've heard other leaders say the opposite. So it really, you can lead with whatever you want. But because we do so many host to posts and like we focus so much on those ads, it's a lot easier and more beneficial to message for distributors because your host to posts are getting taken care of your customers. So that's all of block 3. Block 3, again, I typically schedule 60 to 90 minutes. Y'all, today I did it in 60. And it was like I was hustling because I had a lot of host to posts to go through. Yeah, that was the main thing. I had a lot of host to posts to go through. So I don't like it to be 60 minutes. I try to schedule it honestly for 2 hours so I don't have to like rush through it. But I did it in 60 minutes. One thing you have to keep in mind when you're sitting down to do that block of work, that is not the time to return everyone and their mom's message. because your 60 to 90 minutes will turn into 3.5 hours if you're having all these conversations. Your goal is to get your messages out. The only time I'll return a message, host a post, I don't return them at all. If I send a message asking to host a post and they say yes, we wait later to do that. If I'm messaging and I notice someone replies to a follow-up, when I say, hey, like, I'm setting up an order now, are you ready? And they say yes, I'm responding to that. That's going to be a sale. But everything else is waiting. So block 1, I pretty much do first thing in the morning. Block 2, we skipped for now, and I'm telling you in a minute why. Block 3, which is literally message 25 distributors, potential distributors, message 20 or whatever your number is. So if you're brand new watching this and you're like, yeah, I would never message 25, make your number 3. Send a certain amount of distributor messages, send a certain amount of host to post messages, and then follow up with your host to post. So my goal is 25 of each of those. And then block 4 is my 7 o'clock at night block when I get on this Zoom with you guys. All I'm doing is updating my hundreds list, which is a fancy way of saying everyone I talked to today. Basically, the way I do it, anyone I talked to before noon today that said they would host a post or showed interest in a product, I'm writing them on my hundreds list, because tomorrow when I wake up and do block 1, I don't have to sit and write all the names out. They're already on my list. I just have to message them. And towards the end of the night, I don't really want to like do a lot of work. So that's an easy thing to do. The second thing I do is I go through my notifications. I only allow myself about 15 minutes to do this. I don't get sucked in the scroll. That's an easy thing to do when you're checking notifications. But if you're doing host to post, you need to be doing your notifications, because what I do is if I'm tagged in, let's say a hair post, for example, I'll go through and everyone that commented on that hair post, I'll just reply and say, shoot me a message saying hair and a friend request. Shoot me a message saying hair and a friend request. Guess what? When I wake up in the morning, I've got new leads already in my inbox. So I don't take that time to like go message them, but I'll take 5 seconds and tell them to message me. And then the third thing I do just to end out my night is I return messages. So that's when I sit down and I really return all the messages. This is the reason I do this. My husband does not get home from work until 6:30, 6:45. I get on the Zoom with you guys at 7. From 7 to 8, I'm getting as much of that done as possible. And then I can go sit with my husband and watch TV and do notifications and returning messages. It's not hard. I can lay in bed while we're chatting and he's scrolling on Facebook anyways, and I can be returning messages because, again, if you don't have the system of WordBoard set up or text spans, right? Whatever the one is for Android, you know, all you lower class people that don't have an iPhone. Savannah's like, I quit. Y'all know I am anti-Android. But I think when I tell people, oh, I lay down and respond to messages, like, oh, how do you do that and like and be able to talk to your husband? Because it literally is a push of a button. Oh, that's the response. Boom. That's the response. Boom. I'm not having conversations with these people. It's basically automated. I'm just going. It's so easy, guys. Get the system down. And that typically is a 60-minute block, sometimes less. And that's if I drag it out, because sometimes on these 7 o'clock Zooms, y'all know we sit and talk. Like, it's not all business all the time because we're friends with each other. That's part of this business. Like, we have literally a community of people. So those are my 3 main blocks. So block 1's first thing in the morning. Ooh, y'all, Corona, just kidding. Block 1 is first thing in the morning. Block 2 is like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And block 3 is 7 o'clock at night on the Zoom. Guys, block 1 is on the Zoom. Like, me and Janice get on and I'm doing block 1 and she's doing whatever her block 1 is, because we all have a little different system. So you set the system that works for you. The only other block that I do is block 2. And that's the reason I skipped it is that's my journaling block. So technically it's not work, as it is not like an income producing activity, but for me it is. I don't skip it. I've got a video that explains how I do my journaling. I'll link it down below with this. But if you're not a journaling person, or if you're not a religious person, I highly, highly suggest, or maybe you are, but you just don't have time. Like mine's a 2-hour block, I'll be honest with you. That's something that's not negotiable for me. It doesn't just help me with this business. It helps me be a better homeschool teacher to my daughter. It helps me be a better wife. It helps me be more present with my daughter. It helps me be more centered. Like it's an overall thing for me. And I explain in the video exactly what I do. But if you don't like doing that, which is fine, that is not a requirement of this job, or you just don't have time to do it, I highly suggest you doing a 5-minute block number 2. And personally, I like to do this first thing in the morning, but if I don't have, like, for example, I like to get up at 3:00 and I do journaling from 3 to 5 because I'm extra crazy like that. There are plenty of days I don't wake up at 3:00 because I'm still working on being consistent with that. If I don't wake up till 5 or 6, then my journaling Zoom gets pushed off, or my journaling block, I do it in the afternoon. What you don't want to do is plan it for the evening, because anything you plan for last thing, that's the first thing that gets kicked out of your schedule if something happens. If you have to kick out of your schedule returning messages and notifications until the next morning, once or twice a week, not a huge deal. If you're kicking the journaling Zoom out and your mindset is not good, that's a huge deal. So I wouldn't schedule it for at night. First thing in the morning or sometime afternoon, whenever you can fit it in. If you don't want to do mine, or you can't do mine, 5 minutes, all I want you to do is write down 5 things that you're grateful for, specifically that happened in the last 24 hours. The goal of this is to focus on the positive each day. Every day you should be able to find something positive. I don't care if you're positive is the fact that you woke up this morning. We all had that as a positive.
Tanya, when is your journaling Zoom?
It's not a journaling Zoom, it's a journaling block. It's just something that I do. But I did record a journaling session for you guys, and I will link it when I post this video. The other thing I want you to write down is 5. Now this would be, I guess, more if you are religious. If you're not, don't worry about this one. 5 things that basically God showed himself to you in the last 24 hours. Kind of the same thing as being grateful, for being honest, but you're just focusing on the fact that God is present in your life. And y'all, if you're new on this and you're not religious, I know I have a few people that don't believe in God, or they believe in God, but they believe in the universe, or like that law of attraction type stuff. That's fine. I will not apologize for the fact that I don't believe in that any more than I'll make you feel bad for the fact that you do. So on my Zooms, I talk about God a lot. Welcome to my Zoom. That's just who I am. So if you want to replace that with the universe or Mother Nature or whatever, feel free. I won't do it for you, but I don't care at all if you want to do it. So, because I do have people every once in a while like, oh, why do you talk about God so much? Well, that's a part of my life. So you deal with it and I'll deal with the fact that you don't, and we'll just be like happy friends. They're kind of just, the same idea, the same concept. We just have different beliefs in them. So if you want to write down 5 things, that are beautiful in nature that day that you noticed, write down 5 things that are beautiful in nature instead of 5 ways that God showed himself to you. The goal is to focus on the fact that there's something bigger than you that is working all around us all the time. And then the last thing is put on some kind of motivational music. This could be while you're driving to work. This could be while you're cleaning your house. What you don't want to get in the habit of, especially first thing in the morning, is turning on the news or putting on music that is just like, now listen, I'm a country junkie, but 90% of country I can't stand. I don't care that your dog died. I don't care that your ex-wife slashed your tires. I don't care that your ex-girlfriend is now dating your ex-best friend. That does not motivate me or uplift me at all. But put on some Carrie Underwood Champion and that pumps me up. So I'm not dissing country music, but I wouldn't put on a country station. Most of the songs are not uplifting. Put on some kind of a Casting Crown station. Again, if you're not into Jesus music, put on some kind of just uplifting, upbeat. Is her name Kendra Day, something like that? She has a really good one. Kelly Clarkson has several that I think are really uplifting. Now, again, if you're not a pop person, you would think that it just sounds like crap, but I like her. There's several people that have like amazing uplifting. I would just start when you find songs that you like, add them to a YouTube free playlist. That's what I do. I started feeling the funk earlier this afternoon. I sure did turn that playlist on, and my kid was standing here dancing. I was like, ooh, let's stop doing that before dad gets home. But it was funny. So block 2, like I said, that's one that you can kind of move. These aren't necessarily in order for that, but just a super light recap. And I will link all the videos on the how-tos of having conversations and follow-ups and all that stuff when I post the video. But block 1, first thing in the morning, interact on memories, do your 2-day follow-ups, check in with all your distributors. Return messages if you have any, but you're doing most of that at night. So when you wake up, you shouldn't have an inbox full of people. Block 2 would be your journaling, as much or as little as you want, but make sure to at least practice gratitude. I don't care if it's a 5-minute gratitude session. And that is why I like to do it before I work, because it gets you in the right frame of mind. But if I oversleep, I use that as like my afternoon brain dump. Block 3 is messaging 25 distributors. And I do that before I do my host to post follow-ups on purpose, because my host to post follow-ups always seem like they take forever. They don't. But like it seems, because when you're going through and you have people that didn't comment or didn't post, it can kind of like almost put you in a negative mindset. And I don't want to carry that energy into messaging. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. So what I want to do is have like a fresh mind when it comes to messaging. Plus, I don't really like messaging, so I do it first. Just being honest. The only reason I am messaging right now is because, like, I'm not even kidding you when I say our team is going triple diamond, presidential, and ambassador. Like, we are running freaking into 2021. So if I get a message a little extra, I'm gonna message a little extra. This changed my life. Why not offer it to somebody else? 25 new people to host a post and my host to post follow-ups. And then my 4th one, which is the end of my night, is when I'm updating my hundreds list. So when I wake up to do block 1, it's already done. I don't have to spend time, like that's kind of a no brain. You don't have to think a lot to do that. So I do it at night when my brain is already kind of off. In the morning, I'm like fresh. That's when I'm ready to have conversations and follow up and put orders in. Plus, it's so nice when it's 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and you've already had an enrollment or 2 and you're going into your day like that. Versus at the end of the night, you're like, crap, I haven't enrolled anyone. And now I'm stressed and I'm trying to like scramble to get anybody into the business. It's a lot better to go through your day knowing you already put someone in the system. Returning messages and notifications, which literally can be done watching TV with your family, laying in bed, if you want to. It's going to take a little longer because you'll be sidetracked. But most of the time, let's be honest, when my husband's watching TV, he almost always has his phone in his hand. So he's not mad that I have my phone in my hand. Like we're just watching a cooking show or something dumb. And the difference is I'm making money on mine and he's not right now. Depends on when you talk to him. He makes money in his sometimes he doesn't. He's in a season of not right now. So it's funny because he just got his commission check today. It's like, yeah, I got commissions. I was like, I got commissions. You better be handing that over to me. Which is funny because it's not 100% true. Like he funnels people to me all the time and he posts and does stories and that kind of stuff. I typically just seal the deal and put them in the system. So we're a good team, but we definitely laugh at each other. Any questions with any of that? I feel like it was like a lot of information, but it hopefully clarified some. Again, just get a system, guys. I don't even care if you don't follow mine. Do something to where when the bad days come and you don't feel like working or you have brain fog or whatever, like it's, what does Ray call it when you're, like your habits are so ingrained to you, they're automatic, I guess. All right, I'm gonna stop recording this. Maybe.